Exactly.
Hello. How's it going?
See me and Julio down by the school.
All right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Don't get mad at me. I just told Tom I was not willing to go get you a piece of Copper River salmon. I'm a bitch.
Should we just?
I said it's a radio show.
Do you want to just flip her off, or what do you want to do?
Oh, no more swearing.
I didn't say any swear words.
So, did everybody get warned that this taping's going on YouTube? Or we're live on YouTube now?
We're live.
So-
That's our camera, and then our guest camera is right here.
Good morning, YouTube. You won't tell anybody else.
So, when you get calls from your agents later this afternoon, you want to see what other shows you want to do, you can send us your commission.
Or if you're,
What am I eating today? Because I got a beautiful setup here.
Did Michael take your order for your breakfast sandwich?
Yes.
And that's
Is
what
this
you're.
what that is for?
Yeah, we're classy, Terry.
I didn't realize we were in France yet.
Classy.
I'm leaving later today.
think of this as your school lunch.
It's a precursor.
Is your flight today?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for coming in to do this before your big adventure.
I got to.
Yeah, we
Because
need
the next
you.
3 weeks I'd be like,
What is wrong with these people this morning? They're angry.
hey, that's a good.
Eat something. You seem hangry.
It's a friendly thing.
God.
You go,
You're nice.
bamba.
We had a good class here last night.
What'd you do?
Paella last night.
Ooh, did you make that?
No, chef, I called out for it.
Okay.
It was a
I'm just-
class.
But I didn't know if you did the class or someone else did the class. Maybe
I did the
Joseba-
class, chef. I did the
Joseba came
class.
back and did a class. I don't know.
I did the class.
Cool.
It was either me or Jose Andres, and so they chose me.
They don't know any better.
He was a
do they?
little expensive.
He was in Ukraine. He was busy.
Terry, we didn't talk. Can we start selling you for private classes?
Sure.
What do you want to charge? We'll talk about that offline.
Gazillion. That was a little finger.
Tom's busy.
Bazillion,
He's got some
gazillion.
travel. I think it'd be fun.
Can you go to France and be broke and come back?
Yeah,
And then I'll tell you how
and
much
then
it
we'll
costs.
That's a good idea. All right. Let's rumble.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to the Hot Stove. Beautiful studio here. We are live on YouTube. The bathrooms are over there. The code is
1225
1225, the year I was born.
BC.
BC. That is. And your job today is to just clap and be as loud as you can when we enter and leave the show. Every segment. Okay, that's all.
I'm worn out already,
Whew. Oh. But your apron looks
Fun.
good.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
How many of you have been here before? Wow, we get newbies. That's a lovely thing.
We lost the window at the Dahlia Bakery last night. I was just looking at that on my way over. So. It's our 15th window since COVID started.
This is getting really annoying, that downtown thing. People wonder why people leave downtown. I'm like, maybe.
Nobody's leaving downtown, chef. Sure glad we started the show so you can blow your nose.
Thank you. You know,
All right. Sean, you're ready. Everything to go. Emma, do you want to hit the gong?
Oh, I'd love to. Bum, bum, dun, 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 dun.
here's Tommy.
It's going to be a weird show.
Oh, it's totally weird already. Welcome to the Hot Stove Society show on Cairo Radio. We're down here at the very lively Hot Stove Kitchen at 4th and Virginia, downtown Seattle, and we are located inside the gorgeous Andra Hotel, which is an 11-story beauty here, old-fashioned beauty with a brand new interior It's super lovely.
Great place to come for a staycation if you haven't done so in Seattle, Washington.
Exactly. As a matter of fact, you know what? I haven't done this in a long time. And just to make our producer crazy, we are going to give away a room night here at the Hotel Andra on a Thursday or Friday night. And you can, let's see, should we do it on a Thursday night? And then you
Yes.
can come to the show on Friday morning.
Correct.
Beautiful.
Free ticket to the show.
Yeah.
A free room and create
Great.
your own
It's a great
staycation.
idea.
Yeah, exactly. And all you
Wait,
have
wait,
to
wait,
do,
wait. What do they have to
personal,
do?
what's your personal email and phone number? All you have to do is go, what's our email?
No, they should send it to me, Pamela H at TomDouglas.com.
Pamela H at TomDouglas.com. And we are going to draw from the hat.
So what do they need to send?
They need to send why they should get a free night in downtown Seattle, which is, I think the value of the room is like $300 or
Yep,
$400.
keeps
something
going
like
up.
that.
Now that the occupancy
So
going
anyway,
up.
you should write why you want to come to our show
And what you're going to talk about.
and what you're going to
Your-
talk
Your
about.
subject.
Yeah, exactly. Because
No more than 500 words, please.
Thank you.
I don't
We
know. I
gotta
did
read
something
these
with my
things.
glasses. I can't read a word on this piece of paper. Hey, Sean, mark the time real quick, if you would.
So I'm Thierry, you're the chef in the hat, and Mr. Douglas,
I don't know.
you are the proud owner.
Wait.
and
He's marked the time. Hold on 1 second.
Oh, he's marking the time.
Well, I've lost my glasses.
Uh-oh.
What did I do with them?
It's right behind you, right there.
Oh, good.
They're on
Okay,
your
Sean, we're
they're on
back.
your forehead.
Ready? On today's show, it's time to talk. Yay! Copper River Salmon is here.
Finally, yay! It's exciting because that's a time of the year where normally temperature rises
And prices rise.
and prices.
I was giving a chat at the Seattle Aquarium a couple of nights ago about salmon and about having to treasure it and understand it and be part of the cycle of life with it in order to keep jobs around it so that people don't choose mining instead up because I mean that's really the alternative.
Correct.
Feed your family and put your kids into school and
As you always say, Tom, eat wild to save wild.
eat wild to save wild. A well-managed fishery, I will add to that. But I was trying to explain to the group why I find such a disconnect on the Copper River pricing because that's all everyone wants to talk about. What's it going to be, right? How expensive is the price? And yet, there's a dozen steakhouses here in Seattle that you can walk into and pay $90 for a Wagyu steak that's farm raised, force fed, blah blah blah. And this is a natural, beautiful creature, and it's $90 a pound. So it's half the price of some of these steaks, right? So I just don't get where people find the disconnect of being so insulted by the price of Copper River when it's a beautiful, gorgeous, natural product that returns every year if we manage it correctly.
But it's the same as we can eat as much chicken as we want without even knowing what happened to those damn things. But we won't eat the rabbit because it's so cute.
Yeah.
Where the rabbit is actually a
What?
lean meat that is actually so good for you, so delicious.
Well, I don't
I'm
want to
just
get too far in this. We're going to talk about Copper River. Trident is here. Trident is the folks that donated 50 pounds of Copper River salmon for our Grilling for Good benefit that's happening tonight at the dock in Ballard. So if you're listening to this show early, just check in online and see if we have any tickets left. I believe we're almost sold out as of this Friday morning, but you can check us out at Hot Stove. No, where do they go for that? Do you remember, Pam?
Tom Douglas.
TomDouglas.com, and you can not just buy a salmon dinner for $25, Copper River salmon dinner for $20, but you could also choose to pay $50 or pay $100 so that the extra money goes to a good cause. 100% of the proceeds go to Food Lifeline and the Ballard Food Bank.
Nice.
You're going to have a little chat with Crystal Chiu from the Volunteer Park Café. Rachel Martin is here from the
Rachel's
Ginger Beer.
with two students who are shadowing her, learning about the business world.
Yeah.
Wow.
And she is a go-getter.
She's a business person.
Yeah. Our upcoming Persian dinner class. This is inspired from the great chefs and great ingredients over at the Chef Shop. We're going to talk that. And finally, we're going to run through our Rub with Love Tasty Trivia Challenge. Pam, have you left it alone this week, or have you done some sort of little massage to our most listened to event of the week?
I've doctored it so the person that I want wins.
Oh, no wonder why I lose every week. Couldn't figure it out.
It's nothing new. We kind of knew that already.
Yeah. Hey, Chef, I had a piece of Copper River salmon. You know, I went and met the airplane at the airport with Trident on Tuesday morning.
Uh-huh.
The big kind of fat-bellied cargo jet that they fly in, and the captain came off carrying the big 40-pound king.
It
and-
was all over the news.
Was it?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't see it, so I just was there.
I saw it on the news.
Yeah. And what? How did I look?
I didn't see you, but I saw the salmon.
Oh man!
I saw the salmon. I saw the Alaska airline thing.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh yeah, just like every year.
Yeah.
Tommy's probably on the tarmac.
I was on the tarmac. You know what? It seems like. It turns out it smells like jet fuel down there. It's just stunning when you're on the tarmac. Then, woo, just one after
Oh, yeah.
another, constant jet, and you can smell it. Nothing like jet fuel in the morning, I gotta say. But this fish is beautiful. I had some. I did my favorite thing I do with that fanciest of salmon, which is leave it alone. Just try it for what it is.
Right.
So I put it in my little steamer with a little lemon water steam and just a little pat of butter and some soy sauce.
Beautiful.
Boom! It was fantastic.
Yeah. Did
And
do
yes,
that at
it's
the
worth
airport?
it.
No.
No, I did that at my home.
Okay.
But it's worth it. And I would say that, after this first week, the price is going to come down by half.
Yeah.
So especially for the sockeye.
My taste of the week happens to be salmon also, but a salmon from last year. A couple of friends of ours went to Alaska and fished. People do that. They take a trip and they go and fish. They go every year. They fish
Do
salmon.
they do that?
Salmon?
They do that?
Some people do, yeah.
Yeah.
Not me, but they do. And anyway, every year, and they have a blueberry farm too. That's where I go get my blueberry every year. So Jane gave me a piece of salmon, frozen, of king salmon that they
Uh-huh.
fished. And, have had, and just like you have many, many pieces of salmon in my life. This was just the most gorgeous piece of salmon. It had
Uh-huh.
been frozen for 6
A year.
months.
6
know.
months, yeah.
And I took it out of the freezer, put it in the refrigerator a day before, and I just pan fry it on the skin side only,
Mm-hmm.
and covered the pan, salt, pepper. That's all I did. This piece of fish was just unbelievable. It was so tasty, like it
If
came
you were-
out of the water.
If you were telling a listener what temperature was the inside of that fish when you thought it was done, what would you tell them?
Well,
Like
actually,
if you put a little
I
meat
actually
thermometer in
temped
there,
it because
right?
my wife likes a little bit more cooked than I do. So I stopped it at 126.
So, and that's higher than I
Exactly.
would have stopped it even because she likes
Well,
it medium,
She
right?
likes it medium.
Yeah.
And the piece was one of those pieces where the belly, there's the belly attached to
Yeah.
the top. That belly, I couldn't wait till the fish was cooked. I just took it out and then started eating it before the fish was cooked.
Oh, that's a chef trick to grab the belly
I was
first.
like, no way, man. I'm not cooking this to death. I'm just gonna eat it now.
Yeah.
So anyway, that piece of fish was just, it tasted like it just came out of the water. That's the part that really, because often you buy fresh fish on the market. Unfortunately, it's already a week old. It's not, when they call it fresh, it's fresh, but it's not as fresh as you think it is. This was unbelievably fresh. I couldn't believe it. It was
Well,
so
it
beautiful.
probably was frozen within what,
Within
8
10
hours of catching it.
Oh, no. It's freezing on the boat. They fish and they
You
butcher
still
it
have
right
to
away.
gut it and butcher it and
Yeah.
get it. Yeah,
It was
good.
beautiful.
All right, up next, we're going to talk a little bit more about salmon. We've invited the folks from Trident Seafoods here, and they've got a new product called Wild Alaska Salmon Oil. It's an omega-3 supplement. So I'm going to find out about that on Cairo Radio. It's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM.
Nice. Nice.
Okay, perfect. Let's do it. Guest of honor. Neat.
Oh, I did it the opposite.
It's
So-
fine.
Since we just did copper, let's start with the oil, and then we'll go back to copper. My fault.
No worries. All good.
I always get confused with the coming up and the
I
lead
know. I
story.
can change that around.
See where I'm going right here, and see the difference. Now listen. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, dude, let's wait for the radio show.
We always waste a
Did you
good
just say
copy.
dude.
Dude,
I'll take dude.
You're-
How about dudette?
Yeah, no kidding.
giving all the good stuff away before we go on air.
Just warming up, right?
But wait, I'm on NBC, CBS, and all of the other channels.
You're Katie.
I'm
You're-
Anna.
You're Anna.
Anna, yes.
Anna.
Anna, Katie's over here,
Yeah.
and then Jose.
I knew it had to be one or the other. And
You know
picked
what?
the wrong one.
50% chance. It's
Yeah.
okay.
He knew you were not Rosé.
That's Jose.
Jose.
That would be even better.
what
I
I
said
hear
it the
you.
French way, Jose. I said Rosé.
I thought you said
Jose.
Rose.
I did, Jose.
You make it sound very sexy, though.
Well, Jose is how you say Jose in French, and which is Jose in Spanish. Jose is Rosé in French.
Yes. Oh, I like
Very
it. And
funny.
Tom, smell that. Give it a little sniff. Because we did do something different with this.
A little lemony scent to
Yes,
it, huh?
it does.
It's not open.
I was
Just
going to
put your
say there
wet finger
is.
in my.
I did not.
That's your bag now.
So if I eat that, it's okay?
Well, yes, you can take it with water, but something special about this product is it's cold pressed. Well, wait, sorry, but you can bite into it too. Stop.
No, that's your baggie.
Jeez.
Put your wet finger in there.
Yes,
Anna
we'll wait.
wants to-
Omega-3. Who
Anna
doesn't
wants
want
to
that?
jump the gun.
You know what? I can't help myself. I love this product.
good.
It's like my
Let's get to
third
it then.
baby.
Let's get
It's-
to it. And we're back. It's the Hot Stove Kitchen, and we are there, right there. We are here in downtown Seattle, and I just opened the bag of these fish oil gel caps, is
And
what
I
I'll
just
kind
ate
of
it.
call them. You just ate it?
Yeah.
And did you put your nose inside the bag?
Yes.
What's it smell like?
Lemon.
Most people would think it's going to smell like fish.
Yeah, no, it doesn't smell like fish at all. Actually, it smells
Yeah,
like
it
lemon.
smells like lemon.
Good
It's
trick
like
to
the
whoever's doing
it's like
that.
my deodorant. It smells a little bit like my lemon deodorant.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far as breaking the gel and put it under my armpits, but you know.
Hopefully a little fresher than your deodorant.
Exactly.
Anna is here from Trident Seafoods, and you have a new product out. And we're going to talk a lot about Copper River today because it's an exciting time of year. I treasure this month, and I treasure the fact that Copper River brings up all boats when it comes to the price of salmon, wild fish, to get it to a place where I think it's more deserving in our marketplace. So, but let's go back to these salmon oil. What do you call them? They're not. Are they gels or what are they?
Yes, they're soft gels.
They're
So
soft gels.
Trident Seafoods is a third generation family owned company. We were founded nearly 50 years ago now, actually by my grandfather, Chuck Bundren. So we're now going into the third generation. And he founded this company with innovation, quality, sustainability. But as you guys are talking about Copper River, it's one of the last wild hunted proteins, Alaska seafood. So we only get what Mother Nature gives us.
Right.
And the vision behind this next generation of Omega goodness, we call it, is to carry on that legacy, but also add value to what we already catch. And so what doesn't make it to the center of the plate protein goes into this cold press process, and we're able to encapsulate it and put it into soft gels in our new pouch, Pure Catch packaging.
It is such you must have done this pouch because you are really happy with it.
I do have to say, this has been my third baby.
Uh-huh.
It kind of started as the world started shutting down, and the vision was, oh my gosh, I want something to take on the go as a busy mom of two. But the world shut down. So now as it's opening up, it's perfect for at home. It could sit nicely on your display here, but it's great to
what's
take
it
on
do
the
for
go.
you? I mean, we've all heard about antioxidants and omegas, and what does this particular product do for you? What's your
I
science?
love that
say?
question because I actually come from a pharmaceutical background, and every day my doctors would say, Anna, your products are great. However, my patients need to take fish oil first. And growing up around the industry, I'm like, oh,
I mean,
I
what do you mean by
know.
that? They need to take fish oil
they need
first.
to take fish oil first because they're beneficial for all parts of our body.
Okay.
Our bodies don't make omega-3s on our own. So it's vital we consume them through seafood or through supplementation. But I think it's about 95% of us don't eat enough seafood. And what makes us different is we're a seafood company first. So we focus on preserving that natural protein, but we know, hey, we want to add more value to this and have opportunities to support every healthy ailment in your body. And that's what this is for. It's perfect to take at home, on the go, and really supports healthy eyes, brain, heart, joints, skin.
That's what I was
And-
wondering right there. Yeah. Our
Yes.
skin, our largest organ, right?
Exactly. And there's so much omega research out there, and sometimes there's conflicting data. But what we often find is seafood beneficial throughout our whole lives and beneficial to the whole body. So really what makes us different is that we're a seafood company first, focused on that wild protein. And As you guys know, Alaska equals sustainability. So tying that back to all we do in the wild caught certified sustainable species.
I love the way you see your passion. It's
Oh,
crazy.
I can't help it.
She's
I
like-
know.
She's glowing. Like she's
Well,
like,
she takes
do
one
you
of
know
these
what? Yes.
gels every day.
That statement is
She's
not approved by
72.
the
Look at her.
FDA, but yes, I do. This is the only thing I will take compliantly every day, and I just love it. I think it's so special to our story, to our heritage, but also just carrying on, like you guys talked about. Copper River Run is beautiful, and the story behind salmon, as Jose will share in more detail later. But taking what Mother Nature gave us and adding more value to it. I look at my dad growing up. He always told me, be a value-added babysitter, be a value add to wherever you go in life. And this is a great way to add value to your daily routine, because even growing up around seafood, I can't eat seafood every day.
Mhm.
So I have a
But-
question.
Yes,
To make that oil, do you use the bones or do you use the whole fish?
we use what doesn't make it to the center of the plate protein. And typically the highest amount of omegas are found in the heads.
In the head? Yeah.
Yep. So that's where we put it through a cold press process in Alaska and then
Sounds
encapsulate
like
it here.
something anybody could do at home.
Well, no, but it's spectacular when you think about the nose to tail idea.
Of course.
And sometimes makes me crazy when I watch people cut up a fish and how much they waste,
Right.
especially young chefs who really don't understand the fact that the belly is the best part, but they want a perfectly trimmed, nice looking fillet instead of trying to figure out how to incorporate more of that fish into the fillet.
Right.
So I know exactly. Plus, when you look at value, when you're looking at around town right now at Copper River being $90 a pound for king salmon, some places, or $75 for a portion on a restaurant menu, why not try to get the most out of that fish you can get, which
Yeah.
is all the other parts of it.
Yes. And
Well, I think for anything from Mother Nature should be used 100%. I mean, there's no reason why not. Otherwise you don't complete the circle, and you're doing what we've been doing for the last 100 years, which is wasting all the resources we have on
Wasting
the planet.
it, putting it in cat food, doing
Yeah.
all sorts of things. I mean, using it all though is key, I think.
yes, the strive for full fish utilization was always my grandfather's vision, my father's vision, and to carry that through. But I love that you touch on the prices of this right now. My husband used to be in the meat industry, and he grew up with those big steaks and would want to go pay for them. We started dating, and he now will say, I would rather have
Yeah.
Copper River than a steak, and you're
Any
willing
day.
to
You
pay
can
for it.
always have a steak.
No, you can always have a
Just like you
steak.
can always have chicken, but you can't always have a wild piece of salmon. There's only so many pieces of salmon left on the planet that are wild.
Yes, exactly.
Please.
So let's go back
enjoy.
to the just gel for a second, and talk about a little bit like in vegetables, when you cook a piece of broccoli, and when you eat it raw, it has a certain profile and a certain vitamin profile. When you cook it, things change.
Mhm.
So on these gels, when you get the omega-3s out, like even when I'm having a piece of applewood grilled salmon compared to eating salmon sushi, say, is there a change in the component when it gets cooked?
There is. So interestingly enough, most oils on the market are not made in the USA, and then they're refined, meaning they just are caught to enhance the EPA and DHA. And this cold press process allows us to keep all those essential fatty acids in their natural form. So those omega-3s that you get from eating a piece of fish, they show up here. And since it's cold pressed, it does have the nutrients like the vitamin D in there as well. It actually has 25% of your daily serving of vitamin D. So
Wow.
you're spot on. That natural triglyceride form allows it to keep a lot of those nutrients that you would get in a
And does our
piece.
body process it easier then? Is that what?
Yes,
yeah.
that is. Yes, exactly. Because it's in the natural fat form
Mhm.
as it's formed in nature. So it does. It processes it better.
Why doesn't all this fat make you fat?
Wait,
Honestly,
wait.
I'm curious.
You take one a day. You don't take the whole package in one morning. That's how
I
you
do.
start. That's how you start.
They're so beautiful.
I mean,
They look like salmon roe, like
Aren't
a
they
curra.
beautiful?
Yeah.
They are beautiful. And you could take a little bite out of that and you'd get that fresh wild taste. But we
Uh-huh.
did include that censored smell just to enhance the consumer experience and entice you. Yes,
That's this thing, this little
that
heart
is
that's in there?
that. And do not eat that. We say leave the heart in the pouch and your heart health to us. But sometimes consumers get a bad experience with fish. They don't have fresh wild Copper River salmon or fresh frozen like you were talking about earlier. And this allows it to keep that, really enhance that smell and entice you to come back for more.
this concerns me for you.
To eat.
Well, if you can't eat this, it sure looks edible. So it concerns me from the perspective just for your company as liability issues. So
Tom, you brought out a great point. And since this is a test launch available on Amazon, we are pivoting down the future to keep that smell and maybe eliminate this heart down the line. But
or
if
just
it,
put it into a perforated a little
exactly, that
package,
is
yeah.
next round of packaging. That's exactly what you'll see. And I'll be sure to get you some so you can try it.
Because I want to eat the heart too.
Do you know what's funny is my 5-year-old, that is her favorite thing about this is the heart to smell.
That's like the Tide pods, the washing machine pods that look like jelly beans. Thank you so much, Anna, from Trident Seafoods.
Thank you so much. This is a great discovery.
And I'm just going to say thank you. I'm going to thank you in the next segment too for the donation of fish for our benefit, our Grilling for Good benefit this weekend out at the dock, the Ceres Pie Ballard dock.
I'm going to take this to France.
Thank you. Thank you. Today.
When we come back, we're going to talk about Copper River. Why, all the misinformation out there. I keep hearing a million different reasons why it's the better fish, or it's not as good as the Yukon, or it's blah, blah, blah. We're going to find out the true story when we come back. On Cairo Radio, it's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM.
You know Jose?
Yeah, I have.
You've met him.
Good and lively. This is fabulous.
Anna, you were great. I appreciate that.
You can come whenever you
never
want.
mentioned your podcast. See, you said it.
Oh.
You said it before, but if you'd like to stay on the mic for a minute, you can mention it.
Oh, okay. I will mention it. Why not? And then I'll pass.
And then we'll pass it over to Jose.
Uh,
Jose, come on up.
Jose, hurry up. She's taking half your show already.
I know. Sorry, Jose. You know what? I joke. I haven't met a mic I don't like. So if you guys ever need someone to come bug you, I'll come back.
All right, deal.
Yeah.
And of
Hi,
course,
my
I
name
met
is
your grandfather over the years, and he just passed recently, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Certainly did. Yeah, and what an innovator he was. And the poor guy suffered for a long time.
I do say every day with him was a blessing.
Yeah.
You look at the last 15 years of his life.
Isn't that amazing? Yeah.
But it was special because the last 30 days he was at his home in Edmonds, and we were there and just got to bring our children. So
Yeah.
My dad really ended up like moving in those last 30 days.
Well, I just so that you don't feel alone in that, when I left home when I was 18 years old and my dad was 47, I thought to myself, he's really old. I might not ever see him again. It happens at any age. Oh, yeah, he lived till he was 82. There was nothing wrong with him. It is a thought that went through my head. That's how old he looked to me, or felt to me.
He lived another 40 years.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course, I've gotten to know Mark Snyder a bit, so that's. Yeah. He's like a Renaissance man. He can do everything. Build a house.
Didn't he draw that?
Run a belt. He drew that.
It's framed here. You need his autograph.
It is.
It's on there.
I think it is somewhere.
Frame. He's done a couple of little ink drawings for us.
But the reputation your company has for taking care of its people and the way that you fish, it's really sterling. So congratulations. Maybe Jose gets the credit.
Okay. You come over for 1 second. We're going to talk about your podcast, and then we're going to bring Jose in.
Okay.
Jose, just smack her upside the head if she takes too much
I was
time.
going to say, I don't think I should stop.
I know.
I know, I missed my
And
He has
calling.
another
what's your-
chance to say one word.
What's
He's
your
already out.
last name? Gonzalez.
Gonzalez, yep.
All right, we're back here in the hot stove kitchen. Terry's got a mouthful of Dahlia Bakery breakfast sandwich, which is making its way around the room. I love it with my shallot mustard, just so you know. In case you want to torture Pamela and make her get out the shallot mustard, that's okay too. Anna Gonzalez, who was just telling us about these salmon pearls that she brought to us of salmon oil. You forgot to mention your own podcast before you get out of here.
Yes. So there is a book written about Trident, Catching a Deckload of Dreams, and it's about the founding of Trident as well as our founder, Chuck Bundren. And we have turned it into podcast form. So if you are interested in learning more about Trident Seafoods, its founding, it's available wherever podcasts are formed. And I have the great opportunity of providing small introductions and just bringing the story to life.
Nice.
So appreciate the opportunity and joining you guys. And hopefully you can listen to our podcast, purchase Pure Catch on Amazon, and we'd love to continue to partner with you.
All right, cool.
Thank you.
Let's bring
Thank you,
Jose
guys.
on. He is going to tell us the Copper River salmon story. Hi, Jose.
Jose.
Nice hat that you have on.
How's it going,
Trident
everyone?
Seafoods, good.
Good.
So I'm going to give you an opportunity, Jose, to set the record straight.
Let's
I
do
think
it.
there's a lot of misinformation about Copper River. The questions that I've been asked for 25 years about this fish. Why is it better than this fish? Or why is it better than the Columbia River salmon? All those things. Can we start at the beginning of the run? No pun intended. Or
No
maybe I
problem.
should say pun intended. Can we start at the beginning of the run? And why is this fish different?
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
let's start from the beginning. So this fishery dates back to probably the mid late 80s when it started to kind of gain popularity.
Right. John Raleigh, right?
And
Yeah.
then within the early 90s, we found out that there was a really strong liking to it, not only for the fact that it kind of starts the beginning of the salmon season for Alaska and then throughout the Northwest, and the product gets delivered throughout the United States. But we found out that throughout time, this is a salmon that carries the same type of lifestyle cycles as many of its other cousins. But the beauty of this actual fish is that it really needs to, in a way, fatten itself up with as much omega-3s as possible to make one of the most longest journeys of about 300 miles to go up a river to go back to its native spawning grounds. So
Because they don't start to eat until they once they start going up the river, right? They don't eat,
Exactly. So we started taking a look at just how can we market that? How can we bring that to the table and say, hey, look at the difference between this fish and all the other fishes that are coming out of Alaska. And throughout the last 20 years, everybody from Alaska Airlines to all different suppliers and producers up in Alaska decided to say, hey, let's put a marketing effort behind this. And it was a perfect recipe where everything started to come together. And the fish really speaks for itself. I mean, you could put a fillet of Copper River against a fillet of, let's say, Bristol Bay. And to a fish connoisseur who knows oil content, and when you cook it, you could see the different types of oil variations. And so as time went by, the fishery only gained more and more popularity to the point where it's become now kind of a tradition in the Northwest, a tradition in Cordova for our fishermen, for our plants, for everybody involved that touches it. And I guess the story, if we want to say it, is the fish speaks for itself.
Mhm.
The sustainability factor that has gone along with it has also promoted just how awesome,
Right.
this is basically.
So Thierry, you know about this, I'm sure,
Yeah, of
but
course.
there's oftentimes that they open the season. You have 6 hours to catch kings, right?
Right.
And that might be for a week. You only get the 6 hours.
You
And
better
so,
have a full wallet.
well, I'm just saying it's managed in a way to very carefully so that enough fish get through that they all return again next year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Alaska Department of Fish and Game do a very good job of maintaining sustainability. They have a very strong group of biologists and scientists that are yearly around looking at fish counts, looking at what fish movements are, when the correct time to open the fishery is. Traditionally, it's always in the middle of May. But there are times where, the river is a little bit colder and it's harder for fishermen to be able to harvest fish. But that's the livelihood of our people in Alaska, our family in Alaska, basically. Like you're saying, Tom, fisheries can be twice a week and only 12 hours long. If you think about some of the fishing grounds that our fishermen and fisherwomen have to go to, they could be anywhere from 1 to 5 hours. So from where they start to launch their boats, they're, driving all the way out 5 hours, spending time there during the 12 hours, coming back. So it's a really strong dedication that goes to this amazing, beautiful animal, which is something that is one of the last things that human is still hunting for, right? So,
Right. Which is something to remind everybody. Wild
Exactly.
salmon is the beauty. I mean, it's
Yeah, when you see wild boar on a menu, don't believe it. That's a gene pool. It's not the way they caught it.
no, I mean, there is a lot of food items that are available out there, especially in the protein section. But wild salmon is just magical. I think.
Yeah, and that's kind of as Trident, the story that we try to tell as what I do for work. We try to connect customers to be able to tell the Alaska story of what is a wild salmon. I mean, we're always used to seeing an Atlantic salmon, and what story does that really have? It is what it is, right?
Open pen farming on Bainbridge Island. That's the story that it
exactly.
is.
But to be able to tell somebody, hey, this is where this piece of fish started that ended up on your plate, and the different sources of people and hard work that went into it is kind of what I back it up.
And also, you guys are attached to some serious regulation, which is something not to forget. I mean, I can't believe how pristine the fish comes in, how beautiful it is, how all those different things. That doesn't come by accident. That comes because there's some very serious regulation.
There's very serious regulation, but at the same time, there's very strong different operation people that we have where we're talking to tenders. We're ensuring that the whole cold chain cycle is as tight as it can be to be able to get the freshest fish, like what you saw, Tom, on Tuesday. I mean,
that was a beauty.
Yeah.
So can we take a minute? I'm not sure. I don't want to put you in a place that you don't know about, but dispel some other salmon question rumors and truths that I get asked all the time.
Yeah, go for
So,
it.
for example, does the Copper River have all 5 species of salmon, because we really only see the top 3, the food chain species. We see the king, the coho, and the sockeye.
They do run as well through there.
Why don't we see those? Are they just
they are commercially harvested, but they're not, I guess, marketed the way that sockeye is. Okay. So there are times when we are fishing for sockeye and king. We'll intercept other species that are running earlier, and we don't
specialize or
exactly.
Market those
we don't.
separately.
I mean, the Copper River itself is part of the Prince William Sound Fishery District, and so when we see other fishes that are not a sockeye or a king, they kind of just go into that Prince William Sound subfish district. But yeah, that's just like any other river. You will see other species outside of just sockeye and king, for example.
Another big one I get is ivory salmon or white salmon, white king salmon. And as a chef, these are sometimes marketing tools. At a fish counter, it's sometimes a marketing tool to get more money for the fish. To me, that's total nonsense. It's a salmon, and it's either a chromosome issue or a feed issue. Do you have thoughts on that?
Yeah, actually, I'm really glad you bring that up. So one of my personal goals is to try to promote white kings in itself.
Marble, do you call them white or marble?
People call them both. They'll call them kings, or they'll call them marble, or they'll call them ivory. And what happens is one of the genes inside that particular fish wasn't able to process what it's eating correctly. So hence the pigmentation inside the flesh turns white. When we fish these type of animals, we're not able to see them until we actually cut into the inside. I mean, when a fisherman is pulling it off the deck, it's basically all just normal skin. It is actually a delicacy outside of the United States, to be honest with you. And the reason why is because I think consumers here in the U.S. buy with their eyes, and they need to have salmon be really red or that orange tint color. But there are certain...
Which is why they color farm salmon.
Exactly, yeah. But there are certain chefs and certain users that are now being more keen to it. But yeah, as we fish normal red-colored salmon, you will get white-colored salmon.
Yeah, and it's the same. That's all the point I was making. It's the same.
In flavor, I've done it many times.
You can blind taste test all day long. You would never know. But they do. Fish markets tend to want to grandize that because they know that you're looking for red salmon. So they're like, oh, this is better or something. It's nonsense.
Exactly.
If you want to ask us any more questions about salmon, because it's such a Northwest thing, why don't you just put them in the email to the hot stove, and we will try and answer them next week on the show when Thierry's in France, not eating Alaska salmon.
You know what? I won't be eating salmon for 3 weeks because I know what kind of salmon we have in France.
I know it's true. It's all
Not
farm
wild
Scottish salmon.
Alaskan.
We actually do have some wild Alaskan salmon in France. I'll talk to you about
Oh,
that.
yes.
It's frozen,
Jose,
but
thank you so much for coming on from Trident Seafoods. Thank you again, along with your team, Katie and Anna, for the donation of the Copper River salmon for our big Grilling for Good event on Saturday evening at our warehouse dock in Ballard. Up next,
Rachel Marshall. Can't wait to talk to her.
Rachel Marshall. Up next, Rachel Marshall from Rachel's Ginger Beer is here to chat on Cairo Radio. It's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM.
All right, Trident. You guys can come anytime you want.
Nice
Jose.
job, you guys.
Radio copy. Thank you.
It's a new slang.
I like that photo, guys.
All right. Get our sign back. All right. Maybe you look pretty, Michael.
That's where we look good when it's wide like that.
Yeah, that's a trick.
How many are you taking, Michael? From the AP or what's going on? Thank you. Cheers.
Anyway, Jose.
All right, me too.
Safe travels.
Go. Yep. I'm going to a three-star restaurant. So, I can actually put them and recommend they buy from. Oh,
yeah. So I've had.
Peru, I was in Peru 2 years ago. Went to
How did you?
that is that day. I probably couldn't go.
I'd like to hear how.
Some kind of thing.
Yo. Hello. Take your time. We got all day.
Hi.
Thank you
Hi.
so much.
How are you? Great. How's that little one?
Hercules is awesome. He is. I'll show
Morning,
you
Rachel.
his picture.
You're going over the pond? Exciting.
Run the company.
Paris.
Grab a chair.
And by the way, it's 90 degrees over there.
He's working as the new CEO of the company.
Oh, yeah. That's a good idea.
Oh, it's so sad when that last one at the.
Jose, thank you.
Bye, Jose.
Yeah.
Hasta luego.
We just brought those to share.
Who are these people? Why are they here?
These are my friends, Sigrid and Anjali.
Ça fait du monde.
Have you been to Café du Monde?
Yes, I have.
Sorry, I had to put in my breakfast. How's life at the beer? It's good. Well, a little bit. I have a little bit of thing on my lung, but yeah. I mean, it's not gonna beat me up yet, only because of exactly and eating in good restaurants and
YouTubers, this is my grandson Hercules.
Rory.
We're on company property.
His name is Rory, also Hercules. He's Tom Douglas' grandson and baby.
So are we going to get a little sip here? What's going on?
Sit down. Rachel, that's your chair, that's your mic. Get as close as possible to the mic. Close as possible like this, so we can hear your wonderful, sexy voice.
My seasonal allergies voice. Golly, the last 2 days have been rough. Testing.
Who knew you had gray hair, Rachel?
Toner. Yeah, looking good.
I stopped dyeing mine a long time ago.
You're doing it right. Are you using purple shampoo?
What shampoo?
Purple shampoo.
Purple shampoo.
Do you use that?
No.
I'll text you about that. My dad uses it.
And?
It just gives you the silver versus the yellow. You're doing it right.
I'm an Aveda man.
I haven't had issue with my hair
Where's my
in
phone?
days. For months.
Well, finally.
Finally, the talent gets a taste.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
How about tequila would be better?
Oh.
What time's your flight? 6? Oh, yeah.
Wait, where are you flying to? You're flying today?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Do you have to test before you go?
No, I just have to have a proof of vaccination.
That's great. Exciting.
You have to take that on the way back. You have to take a test
On the way
24
in?
hours on the way back from Paris.
A PCR or an antigen?
Just a regular test in the
Good.
pharmacy.
Okay, good.
And who looks at that?
I don't know if anybody actually looks at it. They make you do it because
Huh, we're still doing that.
the US is the one requesting to have
Yeah.
a test before you come back to the US. A negative test, by the way.
Oh, so on the way back, within 24 hours on the way back. Not
Correct.
after you get.
No. Before you leave
Yeah.
Paris.
Okay, that makes more
So in
sense.
theory, you get stranded at an
Little
airport
makeup
hotel
ginger
for.
beer.
In reality, you could get stuck in France for 10 more days
The
after
worst.
3 weeks. I'm like, boo.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I'm not sure what that was right there.
No
But I
whining
hope it
about
was on
being
camera.
As in,
Camera.
like, who's gonna worry about that?
The problem is, like in China, you're stuck in your hotel, locked in,
Yeah.
where they drop food at your door 3 times a day.
Well,
That's
actually,
that's the
in
difference.
France, it's 5 times a day, and it's 3 courses each time.
And you get foie gras for breakfast.
Even sick, they don't skip on that. Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
You have COVID? Would you like some foie gras? Like,
I'll have a
wow,
terrine
okay,
with some
fine.
brioche, please.
All right, shall we continue the show? Maybe.
Please.
What do you think, Chef?
I can't believe you're still waiting.
Look at they're much more lively now that they've had their Dahlia Bakery breakfast sandwich here
I
at
say,
the hot
once you
stove.
feed them, they're alive.
If you want to come be a watch our show, Pamela will tell you how to do it. You go to where? Hotstove.com.
Hot Stove Society, sign on up.
Sign on up. It's $30.
Don't
Get
forget-
coffee. Is the coffee hot?
Pretty hot.
Pretty hot. Hot coffee. Is coffee hot? Delicious. Yeah. And you get a hot breakfast sandwich. Yes.
And fun.
And fun.
And don't forget to watch us on YouTube.
And
live.
by the way, everyone today got a little bag of salmon oil gels. So congratulations.
They're going to be super healthy.
Don't eat the heart, apparently. It's-
Just eat everything around the heart.
yeah, apparently. Rachel is here from Rachel's Ginger Beer. We all know that. And you are bringing in. It's is it a change of season time for you? What's going on?
It is. We're kind of transitioning from the very, very long winter, and it's been an awfully wet spring here as well.
I thought we were still in winter.
Man.
This morning it was
I am so tired of
49 degrees. I'm like, what is this? It's 90 degrees in France right now. I'm like, I want to go to
I'm so
France.
tired of Brussels sprout ginger beer, so I'm ready for ready for a new flavor.
You always told me that was your favorite, Tom. Come on. But I said asparagus because I have France on the mind. Rhubarb just hit.
Oh,
we've
nice.
been having a lot of fun and lots of headaches
Uh-huh.
in our central kitchen making strawberry rhubarb ginger beer.
Why headaches?
Because we don't use extracts. We take big, long stalks of rhubarb, cut them up, steep them, strain them 1,000
Not a
times.
friendly vegetable, is it?
Very unfriendly, and it clogs all of the filters 1,000 times before we finally get it into that keg and into our glasses.
And the enzyme in rhubarb isn't that creating separation problem or anything?
Oh, does it? Really? All right. Note
Haven't
to
got
self,
there yet.
learn how to emulsify.
I don't know. Maybe not.
So what's the process for ginger beer? You've been making it for a long time, and you can make pretty much any flavor, it seems like, except Brussels sprout. That was a joke. So what's the process? How do you make ginger beer?
I think what's really simple and confusing about our ginger beer recipe is it's just a 4-ingredient recipe. Fresh ginger, fresh lemons, the best water in the world, which comes from Seattle, and really great organic cane sugar. Chop the ginger, juice the ginger, chop the lemons, juice the lemons, make the simple syrup, mix it all together, and in 8 hours we go from whole fruit into a keg that can be poured that evening.
Mm-hmm.
How cool is that?
It's super awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have to peel the ginger?
We do not.
Oh, good, because talk about hard to deal with.
Boy, no
Peeling that much-
kidding.
yeah.
We were, I'm here with my friends, and we were in the kitchen yesterday, and we processed 3,000 pounds of raw ginger.
Uh-huh.
And we do that 3 times a week. And it's so
That's
much
a ton
ginger.
and a half.
It's so much ginger and about 3 times that of lemons. And had you
There's
told me
3
this,
of you process that between 3 people? I'm like, what are you guys, super peelers or something? What are you?
we have arms and knives.
No kidding.
And we're all really sore. And I don't do this very much anymore, but I have a blister on my finger. So I know, poor me.
Okay, so now it goes into a keg and it goes off to one of your many tasting rooms,
That's correct.
and then to a bottling line.
Yes, so we bottle in-house. Everything is done in-house from beginning to end. Nothing's outsourced and nothing's co-packed, which is both wise and stupid.
Uh-huh.
So is there a trick to bottle something that's spritzy like your ginger beer? Because
Yeah,
I would think that bubbles would be getting in the way of putting a cork on something.
yes, so it has to stay super duper cold because CO2 doesn't like to stay in warm beverages. Like if you have a bottle of Diet Coke in your car rolling around all day and you open it and it goes crazy, that's because the CO2 is trying to leave that liquid. So it has to stay super duper cold. That cold chain cannot be interrupted. And also, you don't want anything to spoil, and you don't want all that fresh lemon and ginger to oxidize. So
Correct.
keeping it cold, and fast from bottle to mouth is really important.
Cool.
So what do we have in front of us, Rachel?
Today we are having our most popular and my favorite, the pink guava ginger beer, and we also
the pink
have
what? The pink what?
pink guava.
Oh,
That's
pink
the more
guava.
opaque, lighter colored one. And then the more red one is our seasonal strawberry rhubarb made with Northwest rhubarb, of course, the best rhubarb in the world.
And we're not quite into our strawberry season
So-
yet, so you have to deal with that, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
So we outsource that to California.
So I have a question. Everything starts with the base of lemon and ginger, right?
Correct.
So not everything can possibly match with that, right?
Big
What
time.
are the big problem?
Our biggest problem is pectin. Pectin is the enemy of CO2. There you go. Our friend is tequila. Get it, Tom? So we have to be very careful with working with berries. They make the foamiest ginger beer. It's a real headache. Anything with seeds. So like strawberry kiwi ginger beer is probably the best thing you'll ever drink. But those teeny tiny seeds in the kiwi are just an enemy of our kegs. Sometimes I really envy ice cream makers because they can use all these whole ingredients and have inclusions, and we just have to be very careful. Everything has to be perfectly liquid.
Have you ever tried pineapple?
Yes, we have a spicy pineapple and
Oh, I
a caramelized pineapple, and with darn, Next time, Tom. With tequila, it is magic.
Oh, with rum, I think it would be killer.
That's a good point. Like dark blackstrap, high
Yeah, yeah,
molasses rum.
That sounds
So,
good.
Chef, I don't know if you noticed or not, but I did just pour a little
Yes, I
shot of
did.
Oh, we all noticed.
Gazadores into the light pink one, and it
That's the
is
guava.
the guava, and it is quite spectacular.
Thank you, Tom. You finally said it.
Spectacular ginger beer.
10 years ago, Tom and I were at an event when I was a wee child, just getting started. And I
You were
overheard-
what, 19?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Today I'm 25. And
No, that would be 29, 10 years ago.
whatever. I'm a college dropout, Tom. And
Me too.
And I overheard Tom say, I don't like ginger beer. And it
I have
devastated
never been a
me.
big fan. Bruce Cost years ago
Mhm.
had a ginger beer out, and he wanted me to promote it for him, and it was just like, I can't do it. It's just not something that I choose to sit down and drink. I like them, especially straight up in a funny way, like what's the popular one from Australia?
Bundaberg.
Bundaberg,
Yeah.
yeah, or I think it were Reeds or any of those
Mhm.
kind of straight up. They were just a little too harsh for me. I like them much better when they're blended with a fruit of some sort like this.
Well,
Personally.
I must say that I don't drink it as often as maybe I should. But every time I very much enjoy the fact that it's a non-alcoholic beverage, number one. And then you can add alcohol to it. That's number two. The two things I like, the two profile of that. But I also like the fact that the flavors are always extremely fresh. Like you can taste that it's not like an extract made in a laboratory somewhere or
Yep.
whatever. So it's really, I really enjoyed that part of the ginger beer. And
That's
ginger,
also what I hate about a lot of these flavored seltzers out there. They
I
just
hate that. I
they
can't-
just
I
don't
can't-
taste good
I
to me.
cannot drink anything that is made up, like it's a fake flavor. I just can't because I taste it, so I just can't do it.
I always say they taste like urinal cookies smell. It's like, those,
Like Diet Pepsi. Exactly. That
Exactly,
exact
yeah.
smell. It smells
Uh-huh.
like urinal cleaner. Yep. 100%. It does. You can't
I'm
get
sure
that
our Pepsi
smell out of your
sponsor's
head.
going to love
you
that.
should do a testing
Um,
of that.
Let's make a couple of cocktails real quick. I'm
I think
sure
that's a
you
great idea.
at your tasting rooms you have cocktail bars.
Correct.
Tell us about making your favorite cocktails with some of these bases here.
Something that was really important to me when I was developing this recipe, and for what it's worth, Thierry, I lived in the south of Germany for 5 years after college. Ginger beer is everywhere in Europe. Came
Right.
back to the U.S. No ginger beer. Started ginger beer. Boom. What was very important to me is that we have something that could make a 2-ingredient recipe. So a very strong, concentrated ginger beer. So all you have to do is get a bottle of vodka, get a bottle of bourbon, get a bottle of mezcal, tequila, anything you want. Ice, 2 ounces of your spirit, top it up with ginger beer. You're on your way.
Yeah.
So easy at home. Super great Memorial Day weekend cocktails. Very easy and approachable.
So if you don't want any flavor, any liquor flavor, then you use vodka. If you want
Right.
to have some residual flavor, mezcal is a smoky, right, residual flavor. That would be delicious. I just put in a reposado tequila. Perfect.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can do the rest of the show.
And maybe if you're having
but-
maybe a breakfast drink like some cava topped with pink guava ginger beer is such a lovely combination.
Yeah.
Are you gonna do strawberry when they come out next month?
Absolutely. That's next.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait for that. That's
All right, coming up next, Crystal Chiu is here from the Volunteer Park Café. She joins us in the studio. Chef shop owner Eliza Ward shares some background on her shop and her upcoming Persian cooking class right here at the Hot Stove Society Kitchen. It's on Cairo
Thank you,
Radio. It's the
Rachel.
Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM.
Let's hear from our young guests what they have learned about ginger beer or what style of ginger beer you'd like to see Rachel make next.
So first of all, tell us why you're hanging out with this crazy woman.
We're interns for the next 10 days, and we're here on an internship program for our school.
what's the school?
We go to the Bush School.
Right there in
In my hood.
by your house. Yeah.
By your house.
I walk in front of that place.
And
all
you,
the
are
time.
you the same?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And you've been to Cafe Du Monde, which makes you a good person.
Yes, I love it. We've
All
had
right.
a lot of fun running around. Thanks for having us. Thanks, you
Absolutely.
Oh,
guys.
great
Thanks.
pleasure. Good luck.
Have a great trip. God, I'm so jealous.
It will be a good trip no matter what.
Yep. Amazing.
Thank
Thank
you.
Oh, our pleasure.
Yes. Any questions for Rachel before? Oh, that just Evo. Oh.
know. I looked.
Yeah, she should probably. I don't know if you decided if you other class or we're working on that.
I was thinking.
Coconut cream pies. Okay, great to see you.
I'm actually dressing it up nicely.
Thank you. Oh, you're kind. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
Nice to
Bye.
see you.
Hi, I'm Rachel.
Bonjour, Cristal. You good?
Yes.
Give you a hug from here.
I love to take some water. That'd be great. Like to see you in your little setup.
Exactly.
Nice.
This is it. This is our kitchen.
I came here once for a Valrhona demo, so
Oh.
I'd seen the space before, but not as the kind of radio
I
show.
love this place. It's such a cool space.
I like it.
You know Tom?
I don't think we've met before.
Crystal?
Hi, Crystal. Nice to meet you. Wow.
So, did you figure out your labor situation or no?
Yes.
Terry, this is all you because you've been there. Just,
Okay.
Okay.
You've never been there?
Not since the change.
Oh, you know what's funny? I was on Camino Island Saturday, and I was visiting Cyril because he has a place there. And then we were on our way out. We're like, oh, let's just stop at the tavern on Camino Island to get a burger. So we stop at the tavern. I sit down. I swear to God, I'm sitting down for 1 minute. Walks in a woman with her son. It was the ex-owner of.
It was Erica.
Erica.
Oh, wow.
I was like, whoa. I haven't seen her in a few years, and I was like, she was totally. She has a house on Camino. I think she moved to Camino. We're gonna do the background first, and then we'll do
Right.
the food after.
Okay.
You got lots to talk about.
I'm ready. Ready.
So, Crystal, just listen to me
Okay.
and listen to me. Okay. So just stay right up on that mic.
Got it.
You can even drag it to you more if you need to, or bring
Okay.
your chair in more.
All right.
But the key is no matter who's talking to you, talk to the mic.
Got it.
How's the audience doing? You guys good? How's Facebook doing? You guys good out there? Okay, good.
Thank you.
I figured they said yes.
Do they have anything we need to? Any
Comments?
questions? Sean? Nice. Excellent. We love that they're with us.
Good morning, Jim and Terry.
Crystal, we're saying your name correctly.
Yes.
That's
you are.
okay.
Whoa.
I brought some treats for you
Whoa.
guys.
Yeah,
Fun.
put them up there to see.
Nice little sampling of our pastry case right there.
Wow, something smells
That
fantastic.
pastry case is loaded.
I think it's me.
It must be you.
It's that.
It's the fish oil.
It's. I was gonna say it's eau de poisson.
Yeah.
My new perfume. That curry open. Curry's. But anyway, we'll talk about it.
We're back in the kitchen at the Hot Stove Society. I'm Tom Douglas. Thank you for joining us for our second hour.
And I'm Thierry Roturo, the chef in a hat.
Yes, you are. And you're a handsome one at that. You seem especially excited today, Chef.
I'm very
There's something
excited.
going on that we should know about?
No, nothing special. You know, I'll just be flying to France today. So,
And see your
And
mama
more importantly, it's 90 degrees. I'm like,
in France?
I can't wait to be in my short and my Hawaiian shirt and go.
What
"Oh my
about
God,
the
this
people?
is what it's supposed to be.
What about the people that have to see you? Are you going to do that on the plane, or are you going to do that?
You know
after
what?
get
That's
off
the
the
least
plane?
of my problem. That's their problem by now.
So you're going to go see your mom?
I'm going to see my mama
Yeah.
and my
nice.
brother and my sister.
Yeah. And what's she going to make for your first dinner back?
She has already told me this morning. I called her this morning and I was trying to play a joke on her, going, "Hey, I'm in Paris." And she's like, "Wait, you told me you were coming." I'm like, "I'm just kidding. I do that all the
She
time.
thinks
with my
you're
mother.
really funny, I bet.
Keep her alive.
Yeah.
Anyway, she's marinated some very thin pork chop on the bone,
Hmm.
but the cutlet like below the rack. And we're going to grill that when we get home. And we're going to start with that. And a
So that's where
beautiful
you learned that
salad.
recipe, because I've had that at your restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thin one, she makes the thin one.
Uh-huh.
Like they cook in like 5 minutes.
Hmm.
And with a beautiful green salad from the garden and some haricot vert.
I guess if it's 90 degrees, you can have a garden.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you better water it at 90 degrees.
Crystal Chiu is what is saddled up to the mic, sauntered up to the mic,
Mhm.
I'm right here.
right here from Volunteer Park Cafe. She has took over from Erica, who
Erica
had
Brook.
that restaurant there for a long time. And Thierry, you've been there, so I would love you to kind of run about Crystal's background first.
Well, yeah, and first I would like to say that if you haven't been to the Volunteer Park Cafe, if you have a lunch to do, a meeting or whatever, perfect spot. I mean, it's great. You're in the middle. If you've never been, the Volunteer Park Cafe looks like a house in the neighborhood.
Mhm.
So it's very quaint, and the whole place is totally quaint and perfect for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. So congratulations to you. It looks and feels really good.
Thank
And
you.
You haven't lost the touch of the Volunteer Park Cafe. I like that.
Oh, thank you. That's what we love to hear.
And the food I had was delicious. That pastry case, you brought some sample here. That pastry case is definitely looking very, very healthy. I like that. And why don't you tell us where you come from? And because I had never heard of you before, and I was amazed to meet you.
Yes,
and-
of course. Yeah, so I'm a Texan, born and raised. My actually a child of immigrant parents who came from Taiwan back in the late 70s, but grew up in Texas and kind of worked not in the food industry to start. I got a bachelor's in communications and ended up moving to DC and working in politics for about 6 years. I happened to work for Nancy Pelosi, who was the speaker at the time. I was working in a press
Never heard of
office.
Just kidding.
I was working in her press office for her first term as Speaker of the House of Representatives. And it was a very special job for me, especially right out of college. And after 4 years, she lost that position. And then I lost my job. And it was a little moment of reckoning where I was thinking about what I wanted to do next. And I realized I had such a curiosity and love for food that I did some time at a bakery in DC, and it was my first time seeing what it was like working in the food industry, and thought that, you know what, why don't I make this my career? So never looked back after that. I went to a pastry school in Chicago. After that, moved to New York City, worked at Restaurant Danielle with Danielle Bouloud in their
Good
pastry
friend of
kitchen.
mine.
Mhm. And after that, I wanted to continue learning pastry in all forms that I could. So I started traveling, and I went to the Asia Pacific and Australia and staged in different restaurants in that region for about a year, and landed in Indonesia, where I worked for an American pastry chef in Bali, Indonesia. He has a restaurant there called Room for Dessert, and was his chef de cuisine for about a year, and came back to the US. My passport was expiring, my visa was expiring, so all signs kind of pointed to coming back
Come
to the
home.
US. And then I came to Seattle, and I became the executive pastry chef at Canlis up in Queen Anne, and was their pastry chef for 2 years. And after the pandemic, I kind of wanted a little change of pace for myself, and that's when I joined my colleague Melissa Johnson, who also worked at Canlis, to reopen Volunteer Park Cafe. That's my background.
That sounds like such a beautiful road. And
Well-
you're only 22, which is cool.
Very close to that.
Well, when you were in DC, of course, one of the great pastry chefs in the world, Michel Richard,
Michel
was
Richard,
Yes,
still alive. and-
absolutely.
And,
I-
back there.
I had his desserts. They were magnificent.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
he had such a spirit about him.
Yeah. I think he was a genius. He was a creator like nobody else.
I
I
agree.
mean, he was a pastry chef that actually turned chef. and opened when he opened Citrus.
Mm.
That was his first restaurant, and he opened Citrus.
In LA, right?
I was in the back before he opened Citrus with him, and he was explaining me how the line was set up, and I was like, I never heard of anything like this. I was like, who comes up with great ideas like that? He's not even a chef. That's because he's not a chef. He's a pastry
Pastry
chef.
chef. Yeah.
So he thought differently, and it was really cool.
Well, believe me, when we were we were Amtrak railroad chefs together on the chef team for Amtrak. He thinks very differently. It's like,
Oh yeah, he probably.
it's like
Can you give
Michelle.
an example of that?
Well, at his restaurant in DC, it was all about making like caviar out of eggplant, so that it was served in a caviar tin, but it was all eggplant pearls,
Right.
basically, and they were spectacular. Like, that is not what we're going to serve on the railroad out of a galley kitchen that's the size of a broom closet. So it's like it was those kind of conversations.
Right.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
the
but
same when not Nishino. Nobu was on my chef
Oh,
team
yeah,
on
yeah.
Northwest Airlines.
Having a hard time being
Exactly.
understanding the masses there.
So, what was the one place that you went that really defines who you are today? Is there one operation that really you glommed down to? Because I can tell you some of the chefs that really made a difference in my life, including the one right next to me here on this show. So,
Sure, absolutely. The one place that really sticks out to me is my experience in Bali, Indonesia, with Will Goldfarb. As a pastry chef, we often work with ingredients that we have never seen in its natural environment, like chocolate and vanilla and spices like cloves and nutmeg.
The basic.
Yes. And so all the baking spices, right?
I hadn't even thought about that. They're
Yeah.
right there.
They're right there.
Yeah.
So when I lived in Indonesia, I also spent a year kind of traveling throughout the country that's made up of many islands. And I got to see cacao trees growing. I met a vanilla farmer growing vanilla beans and saw how he hand pollinated each flower as it came out. And I saw clove farmers growing their trees and learned how they harvested their cloves. And as a pastry chef, it really made me feel very close to the product that I use and the end product that I make
Right.
from them. And it really kind of closed the circle for me as a pastry chef to be able to really understand the ingredient that I
Right.
work with.
Yeah.
I would bet you're one of the few in this country that's had those types
Yeah.
of experiences.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'd be sad.
I felt exactly the same way when we went to India and central India in the Coorg Mountain. And we stayed in a coffee plantation,
Mhm.
and there was peppercorn growing on the trees, on the vines. And there was
Did you
vanilla-
smell them?
Oh, I picked them, and Kathy
Yeah.
could not understand why I was going so crazy about peppercorn. And I go, honey, I've used this all my life. I've never seen live peppercorn. I was like, I've seen cabbages of all kind. I've seen lettuces of all kind, but I've never seen peppercorn. I was going crazy because
Yeah.
it's, you pick them, they're fruit, they're like a berry.
We're going to explore that further, Chef and Crystal Chiu. Stay with us for another segment.
Sure.
Good. We want to talk about the Volunteer Park Cafe a bit and what you serve there and your inspirations and more on Cairo Radio. It's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM.
Wow, that journey that you have had is really inspiring.
Yeah, thank you.
Clove. What's clove look like in the wild?
It's actually a bud. It's a bud of a flower. So clove is a flower that just hasn't matured yet. So they harvest it before it's been able to
Probably still green,
bloom.
right?
Mhm,
Yeah.
Still green. So when we see clove now, it's
Dried
brown,
out.
very brown and dry. So in its fresh form, it is a beautiful, like bright green.
It's like
Yeah.
peppercorn is exactly that.
Mhm.
It's totally
Yeah.
green when it's
Yeah.
on the vine,
Yeah.
and then they dry it up. And if you put it in the sun, it's white. If you put it in the if you put it in the sun, it's black. And if you put it in covered in the sun, it's white. Very interesting. Same peppercorn.
I thought the white had lost its outer layer and
Well, I think
green
it does.
is-
I think it does when after it's dried out. I think it does lose that. But it's
I bet
interesting.
you know.
I saw
knows
some
more than we do.
peppercorns fresh, but I didn't know. I didn't see how they were drying it, so I wasn't
They
sure
were
how.
doing that on the concrete. I was like,
Mm-hmm. The sun. They just use the sun.
So cool.
Strongest sun. You can use it fresh. The leaves of the clove tree are also used. That's kind of how they make clove cigarettes also. But the leaves are just this bright, herbally, slightly clove scent that, as a pastry chef, I was so excited to use, but you can't get that here. So it's hard to replicate that experience here that was there, but it was just nice to experience it at all. Yeah.
Right, you ready, set, Sean? All good? We're in the kitchen with Crystal Chiu from the Volunteer Park Café here at the Hot Stove Society, enjoying her story of her staging all over the world to become the pastry chef that she is today. We talked a little bit about Michelle Richard and my daughter when she was working on the senator's team from Maria Cantwell, senator's team here from Seattle, NDC, giving tours of the Capitol and the Library of Congress and things like that. She was also hosting a night at Central for Michelle Richard, and she just always laughed. He was such a knucklehead that he would just come in and move out his paying customers to bring friends in and sit down at the table. He was a card, that guy. It made her crazy. Absolutely made her crazy.
That doesn't surprise me.
So now you have we heard your story about some of your background and your inspirations and the spice routes, really literally the spice routes being not just on a ship or off a ship, but there in the gardens of the spice route. Now, how does that translate to your new restaurant, the Volunteer Park Cafe?
Sure. So Volunteer Park Cafe and Pantry, we're pastry, but we also have great coffee. We serve Olympia coffee, trying to keep it kind of local.
Wait a minute.
Because we all know coffee comes from Olympia.
Just south.
Yeah.
But our food menu is just right, I think, for the size that we are. We serve a lot of open-faced toasts. We have soup. We have salad. So coming from my background as a pastry chef, I'm making pastry, but I'm also using a little more of my savory experience. As a pastry chef that works in a restaurant, you kind of get roped into learning everything about a kitchen. And so I'm really happy to be able to use my other skills as well that I've learned in a kitchen that isn't just pastry. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, that tartine I had, the open face chicken curry salad.
Yeah.
That was scrumptious.
But no, I would say that all my background has been fine dining. So being at the cafe has been a different environment for me in terms of just my life schedule, but also the things that I make. And, people love to come to the cafe because it's comforting, and it can be a daily place that they want to go just for a cup of coffee and a little pastry. Mm-hmm. And I've been able to experience the joys of just daily pleasures in life at a cafe than I have at a fine dining restaurant. So I've really embraced trying to make things that people love to just enjoy eating, that's comfortable and pleasant. Like the pastries I brought, we have like carrot cake and layered chocolate cake and crumb cakes, muffins, like things that people feel warm inside and out eating. Right. So yeah.
Beignets, are you going to do beignets?
Not yet. But
good.
The world.
Keep my waist down.
What's it like to have that kind of environment? You were up at Canlis on Aurora 99, very busy. Yeah. If you're down here at any of our restaurants, Terry's old restaurant, Lulay, or whatever, very urban environments, and you're in this park setting.
Yeah.
But how does that inspire you?
We're really lucky that cafe is in that neighborhood. It's actually been having that commercial lease has been grandfathered into that business. So about 50 years ago, that started as a grocery store, a little small grocery store in that neighborhood. It's really fun to hear neighbors come in and tell their stories about when they were a kid and they came into that grocery store to buy candy after school. You don't really hear that a lot these days, I think, especially as the city is urbanizing. But then it turned into the cafe under Erica, and we could tell people really gravitated towards that. Mm-hmm. They love just having this place on the corner, or a little corner spot, bright yellow house with a little garden in the back. But it's been it's been fun to embrace the fact that we are truly a neighborhood cafe. We're the only thing for a few blocks. And so we really embrace that and really try to make it this environment that people, they see us as their friend.
Yeah, I mean, that's the coolest part about it. It's the only business around in definitely a few blocks. And it's also in Volunteer Park. I mean, it's a great part of the city. And I don't know, it's a great environment. You get the garden in the back, the patio in the front. And I mean, it's kind of
The big Asian museum is there.
Say what?
Isn't that where the big Asian museum
Yeah, the
is?
Asian Art Museum is over there.
Yeah.
There's a conservatory over there.
Yeah.
That's really fun.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
people make it a fun little like day trip. Go over to the park, come over to the cafe just for some food. It's a fun part of town to
feel
visit.
good all around.
And a hop, skip, and a jump from the Arboretum and the Japanese gardens. And I mean, there's so much of that kind
There's
of
a lot going on
facility
down
over there. Yeah, it's awesome. So we've got the pastries that looks a little bit more, well, there's some dessert and some breakfast. What else do you serve? Like, what are some other kind of savory things on the menu for lunch and dinner?
Yeah, we have. So right now at the moment we have, because it's spring, like just wanted to use all these vegetables that are available right now. We have this kind of garden vegetable soup. The broth is just made of vegetables, all the scraps that we have in the kitchen that we don't want to quite compost, but use all the way. We have a salad that has Israeli couscous, golden raisins, kind of this carrot relish we make in-house, tossed in with some arugula and a lemon vinaigrette. And we have a few, and I also need to talk about our breakfast sandwiches. I think we might be the most well-known for our breakfast sandwiches. They're actually a brainchild of my colleague, Melissa Johnson. She's from New York City. She's from Long Island. And growing up with breakfast sandwiches from bodegas on the corner, just like us, right? She has this poppy seed roll recipe that we use, that we make fresh every day, bake fresh every day.
Like a hard roll, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what they consider hard rolls on the East Coast.
And it has egg, cheese, and if you'd like, bacon, but you got to do the bacon because it adds a little bit of saltiness and crunch to the sandwich. But we wrap it up kind of deli style. And if you see Instagram stories that people post about eating the sandwich, they love just like breaking it in half and just seeing that steam come out and then cheese ooze out of it. And people come for that thing in the morning. We sell it until around 11 a.m. or until it sells out. Weekends it's a mad rush for those things. So come early if you can. Weekdays are probably the better day to snag one. But
what are your hours exactly?
We are open Wednesday through Sunday from 8 a.m. until 5. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And isn't there a little pantry section as well?
We do. So we have a pantry where we like to feature kind of Pacific Northwest, but also things just of great quality. Pantry items. We have fresh. We have dried noodles, we have crackers, we sell just some pantry items that you may not usually see, like Kewpie, where I use Kewpie a lot in our kitchen. So I was like, we got to sell it.
My partner is crazed for Kewpie mayo. So.
Kewpie's the best. But we also sell dried flowers and like house plants as well. Candles, like anything. It's just fun to browse.
It's so funny. I find it fascinating. You're obviously an accomplished chef. And in Indonesia, you've seen clove trees growing next to your table, and yet we're fascinated with things like sugared mayonnaise.
When it tastes good, it tastes good.
In a plastic jar. I know, it's so funny, but it's very chef. I mean, that's very typical of a lot of chefs who have the little trashy sides to them. Yeah. Thank you, Crystal, for joining us today.
Absolutely.
Get
Thank
out
you for
and
having
about
me.
to the Volunteer Park Cafe. It's worth a little stroll. Maybe make an afternoon out of it, or a morning walk, and enjoy one of the great places in our city. Up next, Eliza Ward is here with some highlights from her favorite products and producers over at Chef Shop down there on Elliott. On Cairo Radio, it's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM.
Thank you for coming.
Thierry.
Good luck. Hopefully, we'll help fill it up. It's already full, but now you'll have a long line.
Yeah, get on up there. We need a little photo moment with our interns, please.
Absolutely.
All right, everybody.
Come back.
I'm just gonna wear mine because I'm going on the plane and I don't want to miss it. Hello.
You stand next to him. I think it's
Oh my God, he's so tall.
Keep going. Keep going. Down that way. Down that way. All right. Good. Over in front of the hot stove.
Yeah, that is a very cute girl. I wish we were all going to France with Thierry this afternoon.
Me too.
The show should be on the road.
Exactly.
So cheap. It was only $2,500 to take
Huh?
the cruise with him.
I'm trying not to make sure I make the plane.
All right. See you later. Hi. Good.
How you doing? I know. It's been a while.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. But I was just amazed at my heart. No, I wasn't.
All right. I've never done this, Tom.
It's just a conversation. You watched it.
I know.
The whole thing is to just be close to the mic. That's the only difference.
Okay. And these are some of the products from the.
So you're not going to be able to get off the mic.
Okay. These are the products that are in the. No. So it's Corbett honey, otherwise known as bitter honey or strawberry tree honey.
It's from what tree?
Strawberry tree.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing? I think it's a
I
great.
thought it was booze for a minute.
No, it's very bitter, right? But did you try the Asparagus honey?
No. I got my spoon. Come on.
Did you try that one, Tom?
I did.
The Asparagus honey has such an amazing texture. Yeah, I mean, it is a very clean flavor, but to me, it was the texture that was like, wow. To me, it was just like the smoothness. It's like this. It's not like the white Hawaiian honey is sort of a stiffer honey. This one's kind of like a creamy.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything else you want to mention? Everything you want to mention?
Yeah, this will be for when we talk about the cooking class. These are the things that people are going to get.
This is the Persian class?
Yeah, the Persian
Yeah.
class, which I don't know the recipes for, Pam,
And
just so you know.
Tell us the date.
I don't remember. I printed them out and then I
It's
forgot to bring them with
coming
me.
out Tuesday the 24th.
Yeah, I remember it's Tuesday the 24th.
Yeah,
I just
we're not giving them the recipes unless they come to
no, I mean the names of the recipes. Like, oh, what are you going to cook?
Oh, what we're making.
Yeah,
Is it
I don't know if you have
booked?
No, there's
a couple
room.
spots left.
Okay.
there's
Sell
room.
them, Terry.
Yeah,
No problem.
let's get it going, man.
The winner gets a round trip to France. Watch that book in 1 minute.
Terry, I'm going to France too.
You are?
Yeah, but I'm going to Florida for 10 days and then I'm headed to France.
You
And
might want to.
sadly, I'm only going there for a week.
You might want to check yourself from Florida. That's gonna be harder.
All right. It's going to be a whirlwind kind of there. Spend time with my girls.
Go to Florida for a week.
I know.
Well, yeah. I'm going down to see Victor
Victor.
Hazan.
It's on.
Oh, how is he doing?
He's okay. He's getting old. He's getting up there.
Yeah, because he was already getting there a few years ago. Last time
I know.
saw
He's
him.
still kicking. He's still, it's hard. It's hard. So I go down there and we hang out and cook.
As much as he did.
No, there's only, passive
Just
smoke. He never
Marcella?
smoked, just Marcella.
I gave them a ride one time and I thought they both were puffing away in my car.
I don't think so. Maybe. I mean, it's possible there was a moment in there when he did, but it was mostly Marcella. 3 packs a day.
Oh,
For-
Well, he might
Hour.
as well have smoked because
I know.
Yeah, I know, right? But he's doing okay.
she was the classic light the cigarette with one that she's finished, like the other cigarette with.
Yeah.
I didn't know her very well. You probably met her more times than I did.
She did not like me very much. She didn't like my cooking very much. She was a tough critic.
I
That
think
one.
she was a little bit pretentious. I
She
would
was a
say
little bit-
I would-
little bit
I would-
angry.
I would actually push to say that.
She was very
I met her a few times, and I felt
She's
like
opinionated and fabulous.
opinionated. Yeah, exactly.
correct.
She came to De Laurentiis a
Which
lot.
sometimes
Exactly.
can look a little bit presumptuous.
I know, right? She had her opinions, that's for
Yeah.
sure. And I have mine, so hey.
Strong
So be
women.
ready, right? It's okay to have opinions.
Exactly.
We are back. It's the Hot Stove Society Kitchen on Cairo Radio. You know, we're all about discovery here in our kitchen, and as we have done already today, we've discovered these new salmon gels. We've discovered Crystal Chiu's pastries from the Volunteer Park Café. I mean, when you come on this show, you get a lot of treats. Everyone's got Rachel's ginger beer in front of them. It's been a fabulous discovery day today, and we're not going to stop now.
Okay, good.
No, we're not. We're going to go over to the chef shop over there on Elliott. And I'm still jealous that you guys got that name for your store so early on in the world.
Yeah, well, we were early. We were early.
You were early.
Yeah,
We were early.
you were there a long time ago.
We were. We actually, well, I'm not going to interrupt you, Tom. You go ahead.
No, it's okay. Eliza Ward is our guest. She is. Are you the owner of Chef Shop, right?
Yeah, me and my business partner, Tim.
Tim. Yeah. And you're going to highlight some of the things that you're not only selling in your store, which includes these beautiful honeys, but also some of the ingredients that we're going to use on next Tuesday. I want to say the Persian dinner. When is that? What is that dinner?
May 24th, 5:30. Incredible menu: yogurt, eggplant dip, barberry rice, our Pedro Lozano garbanzos,
Oh, your favorite.
and then there's a make and take chickpea cookie.
Mm.
Yum!
So, and there's a couple
And
of
we
spaces
need
for that.
ingredients from
This-
Chef Shop, and so attendees get a little kit of the core ingredients, which is why we're so proud of the partnership.
Yeah, I'm
There
very
you go.
excited. Very excited about the partnership with you guys. You know, we used to do cooking classes down at Chef Shop, and people come in literally every day and say, "When are you going to start your cooking classes today?" And I
Uh-huh.
say, "No,
They're a lot of work.
I'm done with that." Tom does it a lot better than I do, so we're partnering with you instead,
Uh-huh.
and so we're sending people down here.
Well, it's a challenge, as you
It is.
know, dishwashing. I mean, just everything that has to happen when you have a full class schedule. So,
Yep.
what did you bring for the dinner on Tuesday?
Oh, okay, so
And I think you said there's 2 seats left, right? Is that right?
Probably 6.
6 seats left.
okay, so yeah, come on, guys.
HotStoveSociety.com.
So yeah, so a couple of the ingredients. I'm glad they really don't show up that well on the
It's
camera.
okay.
A couple of the ingredients that I just brought that's going to be in your kit if you sign up for the class is Tart dried barberries for the rice dish. These are actually usually the barberries come from Persia, but right now, which is an old-fashioned term, these are grown in Washington.
Really?
So one of the suppliers we actually can get from now is from Washington. Beautiful product.
And what's a barberry taste like?
It's kind of like a cranberry, but sweeter. So you know
Okay.
how cranberries, you wouldn't be able to eat them if you didn't add sugar.
Right.
Barberries, you don't need to do that. They actually make, you know, they're used extensively in Middle Eastern cooking, but I just put them in my yogurt. Or I put them in other things. And the barberine that's in barberries is actually very good for you. It actually helps regulate your blood sugar. So if you consume a lot of them,
So you take the fish pill and the
yeah,
There.
barberry.
thin your blood,
Yeah.
bring down your blood sugar. You're going to live forever.
Next thing you know,
Tom.
you're on a
Here.
rocket ship. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Persian limes, which I could take these out if you want to look to see what they look like. Persian limes is another hard to find ingredient. It's a dried lime. It can be anywhere from a sort of a light brown color to a black color. They're often called black limes.
Mhm.
So I can't remember what dish we're putting it in, but it adds yet another limey, lime or lemony type flavor. It's actually
Isn't that the kind of lime they use in a lot of Amaros and like
Mhm.
Cointreau and things of that nature?
I believe so.
you guys know better than I do.
Yeah.
I hope that's not.
Well,
in
it's
the
just kind of
quiz.
a very interesting dynamic to it.
Right. It adds like a like if you're making say a chicken tagine where you have the chicken in there and you have the chicken lime lemon tagine and you have the dried preserved lemons, you have fresh lemons in there, and then you can add this and it's yet another kind of umami, extra citrus.
And that's the thing, because
Depth
it's
of
not like
flavor.
one of our fresh limes. It's just a totally different flavor.
It's totally different. It's
Yeah.
sort of very lemony, smells like cat pee, but hey, it adds a different component.
Well, so does fish sauce.
I love the smell.
Fish sauce is
I
one of
like-
my favorite ingredients ever. Yeah.
All right. And then the last product that's going to be in your kit, if you join us in the class, is the locally grown Pedro Solano chickpeas, one of Pam's favorite chickpeas. It's a very small chickpea, round, kind of like a chechi, but it has a very delicate skin, and that's the key. So if you're making like a hummus, it's
Hummus.
much. What's that? Hummus? Did I mispronounce it?
Hummus.
Oh, we had this last week. I'm
We had
sorry.
this last week.
I apologize for Chef
It's
right
like
now. Yeah.
shallot or carrot.
Yeah.
Okay. So it makes for very creamy because you're not dealing with all those really thick skins.
So Pam, you use these. What's your
Yes.
favorite thing to make with these kinds of chickpeas?
Hummus.
And
just told
why?
you.
And why? Because they have a different flavor, or because they puree
They're
better?
creamy.
They're creamy when you put them in the blender. It just has a spectacular texture. I also keep some aside to fry because I love them really crispy too for salads. the
Yeah, yeah. And they
tofu.
make a great fried
So you
chickpea
rehydrate
too.
them and fry them?
You start from dry
Yeah.
and boil
Then you
gotta
dry
cook
them out, yeah.
and dry them
The
out.
And then you
Fried-
deep fry them
fried-
in rice bran oil.
Oh.
Yeah.
fried
I
chickpeas and
need-
fried capers in the
Yeah, yeah.
salad.
Oh,
Yeah.
Good
And the Pedro
garnish.
Solano, because the skin is so tender,
Uh-huh.
it's makes a nicer fried chickpea than a lot of other varieties,
Right.
like the Yorks that are very big and skinny.
Makes sense.
We had a hummus referendum last week, and we learned about hummus from the hummus trail around the world.
It's like
Middle East.
all those pronunciation,
I know.
mhm.
people out there who are going to let you know.
So that's all happening on Tuesday, the 24th.
24th.
They're having a little Persian supper here
Yep.
at the Hot Stove. There's 6 tickets left. Go to hotstovesociety.com. Now, you've brought us some wacky honeys here, too.
So one of the things that we do at Chef Shop is find sort of the best, most unusual, hard to find, incredible ingredients from all over the world. We do get a lot of local ingredients. Some people think we only get non-local ingredients. That is not true. I look for amazing ingredients in this area, the Pacific Northwest as well, because it's such an abundant area. We have some beautiful products like these barberries and these chickpeas that I brought today.
And don't forget your fresh program.
We do have a fresh program, but this is an example of some of the unusual products we bring in. This is flown in directly from Sardinia. For those of you who are looking for Corbett Solo or bitter honey, we have it.
Sardinia is an island in the Mediterranean,
Yep,
right next to Corsica.
yep. Right next to Corsica, which is part of France, which you probably know more about, Thierry, but Sardinia is considered part of Italy. Sorry.
I know.
So
Okay.
yeah, I have a friend over there who ships me small shipments. So we import some of his products directly. Sort of incredible stuff that comes out of Sardinia. But Sardinia is not the only place. We have a lot of French products too, all over the world. Really, it's about quality and hard to find, unusual.
So if you're a honey person, you've brought 4 kinds of honey for us.
Mhm.
How do you identify which one? I mean, I guess you could just buy them all and do a tasting, which is
You could.
fun.
So we specialize in what are called monofloral honeys. We do have a few multifloral or millefiore honeys, but we specialize in the monofloral honeys,
Which just means one.
It means the bees have noshed on one particular flower at a time.
Mhm.
So
Do you put like a chain on the bee?
No, the
How do
bees,
how do you
bees
stop
just
them
coming
from
out.
Exactly.
going?
I was gonna say,
So-
you put a fence around the tree.
so it
Okay,
depends.
bees, you stay here.
Right. No, bees are actually pretty lazy, right? Which makes sense because they have to survive, right?
Doesn't make
if
sense
they're-
because they're always called busy bees.
They are busy bees. Well, they're not lazy in that way, but if you put them in the middle of a bloom or a nectar run, and that's pretty much all that's around, they're not going to go very far. If multifloral honeys or millefiore honeys tend to actually be collected in between monofloral runs. So you have a floral run and there's a peak, and then it comes down the other side, and then you're going to go to the next one, and in that in between, you get more of a mix of pollens as one flower fades and the next flowers come up. And so those were multifloral honeys are going to come generally in between nectar runs. So as long as you have a big enough field or a big enough area, wild area that's growing some of these things, you can pretty much get monofloral honey if you're on top of it. If you're a nomadic beekeeper and move your hives around to where the
Mhm.
flowers are. So
So if you put your hives in the middle of an apple orchard,
you're going to get apple
You're
honey.
gonna, but you feel good about calling it apple blossom
There is a-
honey,
there-
right? Because
There's a criteria about the percentage of nectar and pollen that comes from a particular flower to be able to call it a monofloral honey.
okay.
So there
And
is
how do
a
you
criteria.
figure that out? DNA test, or what do you
Yeah.
what do you do?
Yep,
Yeah.
you test it. You test it. Or you know, for the smaller producers, you can taste it too.
Well, we only have 1 minute, so let's talk about the bitter honey, because I think that's the most unusual.
right.
You called it a strawberry tree honey?
It's a strawberry tree honey, also known as Corbett honey or bitter honey. It is very specific to Sardinia. You might get a few coming out of Sicily, but most of it comes out of Sardinia. It's a very classic ingredient. You know, if you ever look for a Sardinian cookbook, I think the most classic one is, I think it's called bitter honey, something bitter honey. And so it's very unusual and specific to Sardinia.
And it's bitter.
It is bitter.
Yeah, no, it's definitely bitter, and I thought it was booze at first. I thought it was like alcohol in there.
It almost tastes like an Amaro, or that it
Yeah.
has bitters
Yeah.
added to it. Yeah.
No, it's
And that
di-
bitter, and so here's the thing, right? Things that are bitter are good for you too. And so, you know, the monofloral honeys, the stronger the flavor, the better it is for you.
Mm.
And so very strongly flavored honeys like Corbett that bitterness, good for you. Same like the bitterness that you get from olive oil, that oleocanthal or oleorupine or whatever it's in there, that's what's good for you.
Where do
So
people
if you-
find you in the shop?
Say again?
Where do people find you and the shop?
I mean, where's my shop or
yeah,
where
so
am
if they
I
want
in
to
the
put their
shop?
address,
I'm like, I'm right
if
there.
they want to put an address in to get to Chef Shop, because it's not the easiest thing to find.
No, it's not. We're down on Elliott, so we're between Magnolia and Queen Anne in the Interbay. We have painted our building yellow, so you can find me. And you've probably driven by me a million times, and you don't even really realize it.
You know why? Because you always see the fencer, the fencer
Right,
sign,
right,
because
there's-
that's the big Seattle
yeah.
fencing.
And Holy
Company.
Mountain Brewery, little call out for them. They're our neighbors. So if you've been to them, which a lot of people have, we're right next door.
Yeah.
The thing is, we're not open quite as late as they are, and we're not open on Sundays. We're open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 5.
Monday through
And you
Saturday.
will find me
10 to 5.
there most days, although
But
I
the
also
easiest
have-
way is probably to go online.
yeah.
So 2 things you can't do on Sunday now. You can't go to Chick-fil-A and you can't go to Chef Shop.
Can't go to Chef Shop. My Tim has always bugged me to actually be open on Sundays too, but I have to say that I do need a day off.
Put your foot
once in a
down.
while. I know, right?
Eliza Ward has been our guest from Chef Shop right here in Seattle. It's a great little store. Has my favorite orchietti. And you'll have to ask her when you see her at the store, which one is my favorite. When we come back, it's time for Rub with Love Tasty Trivia right here on the Hot Stove Society Show. Cairo Radio, 97.3 FM. Did I make it, Sean? I made it in my 1 minute window?
Am I playing trivia?
Yeah.
Why
You're
not?
Staying right
Uh-oh.
there.
Oh, is it gonna be about Chef Shop list?
Is it
Yeah.
gonna be- I hope it's not
Oh.
geography.
What do you think?
Are you okay with
She's-
we're dead?
You have no concerns. Number one, you're a woman.
What does that mean?
Well, Pamela,
Women always get better treatment.
yeah,
Women always get better treatment?
from
Here,
her.
From me.
Well, that's good.
Yeah,
I'll
exactly.
take that. But
And
it
she
doesn't
knows
happen all the
what
time.
place you're going in the show, so she will set you up like a
To be an intelligent,
like a-
sound intelligent. You
like a
sound-
dining
sound
room
intelligent.
table. She'll just set you right up.
All right.
All right.
What else?
Excited.
So does it? Can people try the honey?
Of course they can.
Yeah.
You just have to.
Just needs fresh spoons for everybody.
We're running just a little bit behind, so we're just going to keep the show rolling. Let Pamela.
I'll be right back. Okay, 1 second.
Christine, see you
They're
later.
called Pedro Solano Cafe.
Good luck.
So they're a small.
Thank you so much for coming in.
You can find them down our shop. We get them from a co-op in Eastern Washington, all sustainably grown, no-till from the Palouse region. Dun 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 dun.
Pass them down.
I would taste the asphodelo first and then do the bitter. So the
No
lighter
double
one
dipping.
first. No double dipping.
Do the
You
white
need
one
to-
first, and then
The white one, then the other one. And then you guys can. Well, you're going away tonight, literally.
You said taste
you
the
know
bitter
what, I'm
one
leaving.
first, right?
Yeah, no. Taste the asphodelo for the
bitter
light,
one has the spoon
light
in it.
one. The light one first.
Light one first.
Those are for you guys or you. 'Cause
Well, thank you.
sure, sure.
Leaving, but yeah.
It's
I'm,
okay.
I'm happy to take them both.
What's that?
I was gonna say it won't go bad.
No,
It's
won't go
honey.
bad.
Yes.
Yeah, give them to
But
Pam.
yeah, they
Pam
have-
is the most important person here, so she gets the honey.
Oh, see, we're already working on the win
I
right
know.
there. Yep.
And she's also
She's like
the,
plugging in big time.
the smartest, the most hardworking.
There you go.
I get
Goes
my
to
honey in like big jaws.
So, yeah,
Ready?
I guess so.
All right.
This is scary.
Get ready to be crushed. We're back at the hot stove. It's time for your Rub with Love Food for Thought Tasty Trivia Challenge. Rub with Love is a family of spice blends, sauces, and mustards that belong in your pantry. And yes, we make them out there in Ballard at our warehouse. These condiments have a nuanced flavor that profiles. Sorry, Sean Del Torre. Let's do that again. These condiments have nuanced flavor profiles that assist you in building distinctive menus. Rub with Love. Sorry, Sean. Let's do that again. Rub with Love is available at all town and country markets, Ken's Markets, Payless Foods, and Freeland or Bartell Drugs, or online at Amazon or TomDouglas.com, or you name it.
Chefshop.com.
Oh, in my cupboard.
Chefshop.com. Speaking of that, Eliza Ward is here to also continue down this road of getting crushed by Tom and Terry in the trivia challenge.
Easy now.
Oh, yeah.
Let's not make that.
But people, we told people where they could find your store on Elliot, but we didn't give them the website.
Oh, yeah, chefshop.com.
Ooh, that
Chef
was
as
tough.
in cook, shop as in store.com.
Chefshop.com.
Chefshop.com.
All right. Pamela, will you tell people how to play the game and who's going to win our prize today?
Each of the 3 contestants is getting 5 questions, and the person who gets the most right is the winner. And then there
Yay!
is
Is that gonna be me?
losers.
Yeah.
Yay for being losers.
The winners today are our charming live audience, who are
Whole
all
thing?
yes, they're all getting a jar of veggie rub because it's my favorite of the whole
Why is
veggie.
it your favorite?
Because it has mustard in it,
Oh, okay.
and Terry and I love mustard and fennel. Dreamy combo.
I'm trying not to go broke. I don't know if you've noticed, but in the last couple of years, there's done a thing called COVID. And if you keep giving away all of our stuff,
They'll buy more. They'll become so
They're gonna become
enamored with it.
Exactly. They're going to
All right.
become hooked and they're going to
and
have
the
to buy
loser
more.
has to deliver the prize.
By the way, it's
Exactly.
good if you use those spice rub within about 3 months. Okay, so place your order now for the next.
Next
Palette
batch.
you're gonna
All right,
order.
let's get started.
Starting with our beloved chef Thierry. I like that.
Yes.
I like the way Eliza says it better. True or false? This is a little tricky. Salmon are native to the tributaries of the North Atlantic and Indian Ocean.
The tributary of the Atlantic, I would say yes, but the Indian Ocean, I can't picture that very
Go
well.
with your gut. You're close.
I'm going to say Pacific.
Exactly. So that statement is false because they are native to the tributaries of the North Atlantic and the Pacific.
Correct. Not Indian. Okay, I got the first one in.
Yay!
Whew.
Chinook king salmon / king are the largest salmon. Which are the smallest, sockeye or pink?
Pink.
See, you're going to do very well today. The 4 most produced crops in the world are sugarcane, corn, rice, and what is the 4th?
I was going to joke and say pasta. No.
You're
Last time
I always
onto
like to
something.
harvest my spaghetti.
Okay, so rice,
Sugarcane,
sugarcane, and
corn.
wheat.
Yes. Oh, wonderful, wonderful start. Please name a variety of chickpea that grows in the Northwest.
A variety?
Darn it.
It's
should be a question
called
for me.
the Pedrosilano.
Oh, excellent.
I could have not said it in one word, but
And finally, name some foods that you should never put in the refrigerator.
tomatoes. How about that?
Keep
That's
going.
Strawberries.
Yeah,
Never put
yeah,
your strawberries in the fridge.
5 for 5 today, chef.
Way to
All
go,
right.
Wonderful.
Chef Terry.
There we go. Woo. Tom, gotta go.
I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble.
No. It's okay. You
Eliza,
on.
Uh-oh.
you are up.
Okay.
When we talk about Persian cuisine, what is the general geographic area of the origin of this food?
Middle East.
Yes. And
Or the
drilling down any further,
nope.
You already got a yes. She's not.
She's like,
geography
I will
please.
haunt.
That's
Yeah.
like asking me what after I won on Iron Chef. Were you going to go do it again? Nope.
Iranian is most.
Yeah, Iranian.
Iranian
But you
is
can
most
also
common.
be Moroccan,
Yep, and
Yeah.
North
that
African,
whole region.
right?
a
Exactly,
vast
that whole
area.
region.
So
Very
that
vast.
that is yes.
Yeah, it's okay.
What is removed from the wheat grain endosperm when we're making white flour
The
so
bran.
that it gets that color?
The bran,
Yeah.
Yes. Thank
and
you.
then we take that bran and make oil out of it.
That's right.
But if you
Um,
remove the brand, nobody's gonna know whose it is.
I know. How do you promote something with no brand?
I know, right?
What is Gewürztraminer and where is it typically grown?
Oh,
Gewürztraminer sounds like a grape,
Yep.
and it's grown in Germany.
Yes.
Okay, I'm not a wine expert, just so you
And
know.
here, they actually
But if
grow
they
here.
made
But-
vinegar out of it, I'd know all about it.
Yeah.
but
This
they
is
make,
a-
they make a
They- I'm sure
Gewürztraminer
they do. I'm sure
vinegar,
they do.
I'm sure they do.
I'm sure they do.
This is a special one for you because it's something you do so beautifully at the shop. What is the difference between extra virgin olive oil and virgin olive oil?
Oh my
Long
goodness.
story.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, it has to do. Well, extra virgin. First thing you have to know is that term means something in for olive oil producers, but in the U.S. it's not a regulated term. And when we talk a lot about it, because when you buy olive oil, you want it to be extra virgin, because the reason we purchase olive oil or use olive oil is because it's good for us, or we want the flavor, right? It's either because for the health benefits or the flavor. And if it's not extra virgin, you're not going to get either of those things. So extra virgin, the number one definition is that it's the first pressing of the olives as opposed to a second pressing. The second pressing is something you want to avoid because it's generally done with a chemical, and that chemical residual can end up in the oil itself. But secondly, is you're going to miss all the really healthy qualities of the oil, like the polyphenols and the flavor that are in there. You're only going to get it with an extra virgin olive oil. But the term is actually broader than that. It's not just the way it's been pressed, but it's also just the quality aspects of the oil itself. It has no off flavors. It's not old and been oxidized. It's fresh. So it also has to do with the way the oil has been stored or the way it's been traveled and all that stuff. So yeah,
Let's have her back to
It's-
talk about extra.
I know, we
virgin
need
olive
to-
it'd be
oil.
very long. I can give you a whole lecture on
No,
it.
I know we could do a whole show with her
I know, right?
on olive oil. Thank you.
All right.
And then finally, since you're nailing this,
Okay.
typically salmon hatch in freshwater and then they migrate to the ocean. And then where do they reproduce?
They reproduce in freshwater.
Yes. And for bonus points in your own jar of veggie rub, can you say the name of what that characteristic is? I can't pronounce it.
Say that one more time.
The name of that characteristic that they hatch in fresh, go to the salt, and then come back. It's got a very scientific term. Anadromous, anadromous.
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 And it is the reason why you don't want to consume raw salmon, because it's
Because
actually a freshwater fish.
There you
Morning.
have it. Heard here on Hot Stove
I mean, you know.
Radio. Did she tie you today, Terry?
Yeah, 5 out of
Oh my
5.
God.
Tom,
Tom.
no pressure.
Okay,
No,
audience, I might need some help. I'm a lip reader, so just
To lay her roe, the female salmon uses her tail to create a low pressure zone, lifting gravel to be swept downstream, evacuating a hollow depression that is called a
hollow depression.
red.
A wren, like a little den, right? Yeah.
It's a red.
Thank you very
audience.
much.
Thank you.
Are we giving it to him because
Yes,
that is-
absolutely.
Oh, okay.
No,
I didn't
no,
realize
no.
that she was actually going to say it out loud because I would never have been able to lip read that.
Wheat flour might seem ubiquitous, but it's just a Western phenomenon. Northern European countries use many other kinds of flour. Please name 3 alternative flour types.
Calendula? No. No, that was a joke.
I know.
Buckwheat, hazelnut flour, all sorts of nut flours. Buckwheat. Of course, we use the regular winter wheat Durham flour. Is that enough? Or do you want more?
You didn't hit on some. Yes, it's enough.
Teft-
We'll give it
Teft
to you.
flour.
Potato
Rye.
flour, almond
Potato.
flour, chickpea
I said almond
flour,
flour.
rice
Rice
flour.
Okay.
So many flours.
Jeez, it's
Oh,
a
the
tough
pressure's
crowd.
on.
Tough crowd.
A bouquet of flower.
I know.
What is the cultivation method for white asparagus?
It's a darkened room, or they mound the earth up, depending on what capacity you have.
Yes, thank you. Asparagus, it's the same plant. It turns green when it hits the sun.
The secret is don't see the sun.
Don't see the sun.
Sort of like
The
us.
solid white fat, suet.
I thought you were calling me that. That would be me.
From beef and sheep is found in what part of the animal's body?
Around the kidney.
How'd you know that?
Everybody knows that.
I didn't know that.
This is a smart group today. Okay. Because the Copper River is so long and steep, gaining an average elevation of 12 feet per mile, what is it that the fish need to store for their epic journey?
Well, as we heard earlier on the show, they store omega fats and amino acids and things like that to get them on their way up that 300-mile journey.
5 out of 5. Everybody's a 5 today.
I only
Oh,
got
everybody's
5.
a winner.
What's your name? You get a jar of my mustard because you helped me get 5 out of 5. So
Everybody's a winner
I
today.
I
appreciate that.
know. What,
Awesome.
what a good day.
Eliza,
I know.
thank you for being a good sport on our show, unlike myself. And if you want to come play Rub with Love Tasty Trivia, you can do it online, right here in our studio. Here, you're listening to Hot Stove on Cairo Radio.
Flip that page.
You're listening to Hot Stove on Cairo Radio. The show is produced by Pamela Hinckley, right here. Runs the trivia. Sean on audio. Thank you, Sean. And of course, Sean Dottori back at the studio. Thank you. And if you want to subscribe to our favorite podcast app, the Hot Stove Society Radio Show, you can do it at any of your favorite places to buy podcasts
That's right.
and get it for free, I think. I don't even think you
Absolutely.
have to pay for it. Or you can go onto our YouTube channel and sign up there for free.
All right. Thanks for listening and have a wonderful weekend.
Have a great trip to France, Chef.
Thank you. Bon voyage.
I've only read that for 22 years.
You know what? There are days where it's just like that.
Okay, we need quiet on the set for just a minute. I'm Chef Tom Douglas.
And I'm Thierry Roturo, the chef in a hat.
This afternoon on the Hot Stove Society Radio Show, we talk about Trident Seafoods' new Pure Catch Salmon Oil. Of course, it's Copper River season. Yahoo! Rachel is here from Rachel's Ginger Beer, and Eliza Ward talks top ingredients at the chef shop. All
It's
right.
a wrap. Thank you.
Bye, YouTubers. Thank you for coming today.
Bye, YouTubers. Have a great time.
You know, I was just showing everyone a picture of Hercules applying for the